as that whining about each other progresses. But the gameplay...
my apologies. Sorry, everyone. Slight technical hitch. You hadn't heard a goddamn thing until just this second. This is game number 1. It is Split Fiction. My apologies, everyone. Wrong click my side. Bully, start again.
All right, we'll start again. We'll start again for you, Troy. So, as I was saying, the newest release from Hazelight Studio, which seems to be the way that they're doing things, and pretty much the only games they're putting out is sort of cooperative, story-driven adventures where you have to work together to sort of progress your way through the story. So they've had It Takes Two and A Way Out previously in the newest entry, Split Fiction, which bit of a revelation, really, because I think it only got revealed at the Game Awards late last year, and then what are we talking about, a 3-month turnaround. So I love that when you get a quick turnaround, you don't have to worry about 2 or 3 years down the track, is this coming out, and have we had development issues and all the rest of it. Good quick turnaround, revealed, released. Really enjoying it so far. I've been probably 4 or 5 hours in, I think, maybe. Troy, you and I have been playing it together.
3 hours. My old man hands are limited to an hour a piece, and we've only had 3 sessions. That's 3 hours by my count.
But I've really been enjoying it. That sort of cooperative nature, and it's
called cooperative. I've been doing my best. I'm not sure you'd classify it as cooperative, mate.
Well, you cooperate when I tell you to go and do this, so it sort of works like that. But even like, it's funny you mentioned that though with the puzzle and stuff, because there's been a couple of times where we've sort of sat there and gone, where do we go? What do we have to do here? What do we have to do there? And you're sort of both looking around, and one of you will spot something on the screen and go, oh, let's try this or do this. So you sort of really have to work together and discuss what you're doing and where you're doing, or some of the other ones where I have to move something so you can jump to a platform and then move it. So you got to really coordinate especially if you're not sitting on the couch together. You've really got to coordinate your movement and sort of count yourself in. And
I can't work out why you haven't come back to my house. You came to my studio one time. Now you won't come back over and sit on the couch. I'm not sure what I did to offend you. I apologize. Was it maybe my choice of shirt?
Well, that shirt is questionable, but I'm just looking at the couch you're sitting on. It's a 1-seater. I'm not sure how close you
I've got a 2-seater right there.
No, it's the 1-seater. You have to get HR involved. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird when he said, come over and enjoy the studio, sit down on my chair, and I go, well, what chair? And he goes, just this one here on my lap. We're friends, But I've really been enjoying it. The only downside for me, like the gameplay itself has been really good, the moment-to-moment gameplay, and it's, for the most part, especially the sci-fi sections, have been really fast-paced, and there's a lot going on and a lot of movement. You probably don't have to move as quick as I think that we've sort of been going, but you sort of get sucked into the movement of, jumping and gliding and all that sort of stuff, moving through it. So I've really enjoyed that. The only downside for me really is...
was it this moment right here where you found out you're a fairy?
Well, yeah, that was, yeah. It was at that point I said, can we swap characters? And you just flat out refused. But the story is what it is. I don't think it's nothing overly in depth or anything like that. It's enough of a story to sort of keep you going. But the story itself isn't really, or hasn't really been my issue. It's the interaction between the two main characters, and there seems to have been like a lot of the dialogue between them. There's a lot of complaining about the other party and why this and why that and what are you thinking and all this sort of stuff. I know Unky's
just wait, it gets better. It gets better.
Well, I was going to say, I know Unky's a fair bit further along in the story than we are, but I'm hoping that down the track that sort of eases off a little bit and it sort of expands and gets a bit better. But for me, the only downside really is that dialogue between the two characters in a moment-to-moment sort of gameplay. The story in and of itself, I think, is pretty good.
Did I just miss it? Did we just miss the swing scene? Because it was right around here, and geez, I was going to laugh at that. Anyway, sorry, mate, I've interrupted. I apologise. Keep going.
No, that's all right. And surprisingly, it's for I know It Takes Two was fairly well received. I think it won Game of the Year, but early doors, or just having a look through Metacritic at the moment, it's sitting at 91, so it's obviously fairly well received. And I think I saw some early sales figures that they're talking in the...
Wait, here's the swing scene. Here's the swing scene. Sorry, I must interrupt to explain what happens here. Unky, I don't know, did you and your son jump on the swing and have a bit of a swing? Did you pull R2? Did you pull it R2 at the top of the arc and then launch him into the void? Watch this. See you, bully. Chaos
I
reigns supreme.
can't say that I did that. No.
I don't even know what I did. I just ended up in the ravine. But anyway, but yeah, as I was saying, the Metacritic seems to be pretty favourable early doors for it. So hopefully it stays that way. I think it's a pretty good game and another win for Hazelot Studios.
I cannot wait to play through it and see some more of it, mate. I'm absolutely loving my time with it. I just wish my old man hands could handle more than an hour. Sorry, Unky, go, mate.
No, I'll jump in because I have played a fair bit more than you guys. I'm sitting probably around that 20-hour mark now with the young fella, or about to hit the last level, or just hit the last level of the game. And from where you guys are, I can tell you right now, you have seen nothing yet of what this game has to offer in terms of gameplay and story. I think the story and the gripe you have with the characters does come together. I think there is that pushback with not knowing each other at the start of the game and their relationship growing as the game goes and where they are now and where their stories go. Like, it is a bit cliche and you can sort of pick where it's going, where the story beats are going to go, but they do nail it quite well. But for me, this game's all about the gameplay. This is the best co-op game I have ever played, and it's coming from someone who's played through all of It Takes Two with Troy and all the way out, their previous games. Obviously, we had Brothers as well, but played that, never played it through to the end. But those two games are everything. These guys are a master of their craft. This is the best platforming game of this style that I've played. Like, we've had Astrobot last year. I think this, by the time you get to the end of the game, does more for platforming games and creativity than even Astrobot did, by a long margin. And I know that sounds like hyperbole and then I'm like, wrap this game up, but wait till you see what these guys do. I don't know what is in Joseph Ferris's head, but the stuff that he comes up with direction-wise in this game and the way it blends co-op at the same time is just absolutely incredible. The fact that this game is running silky smooth with two different things on each screen at any given time, it is just incredible, and to be applauded for how this game runs, and not only how it runs, but the implementation of it with the friend pass, where you can buy one version of the game and then play it. Doesn't
point of order there. Bully, what are your thoughts on the friend pass?
We were talking about it the other day. I'm in two minds, really, because you need two players to play it, so they have to really put it out there that, you know, one person can jump into another player's game without having purchased it. The annoyance for me as a trophy hunter is it won't pop the trophies for me as the, you know, quote, free player. It'll only give the trophies to the person that's purchased the game, which I find
outrageous.
I can see arguments for both sides, and we were discussing it the other day. I can see the argument where, well, you haven't paid for it, so why should you get the full benefits of it? But by the same token, you can't play this game by yourself. So the reality is you need a second player. And they've gone to the point of allowing you to play it for free. So why not just allow me to pop the trophies while I'm playing?
I completely agree with you, mate. It's outrageous. I'm going to hand them a 2-point infringement notice. Get out of here. There is no way. There is no way that is acceptable behaviour. Sorry, Unky. We totally interrupted you, mate. Keep going.
I can't take that. For someone who's not saying, you know, you don't have to purchase their game, and for like, not everyone gives a shit about it. Not everyone cares about trophies like we do. For your margin people that just have a friend that wants to play, I reckon that's incredible. They're offering the game essentially for free to people, especially you can play it cross-platform as well. Places you can play with Xbox. Like, they don't have to do that, and they've done that. So, and obviously the game, yes, it is multiplayer, so you need that. So I get why they've done it, and I get why some people will gripe about that, but I still think it's a good move on their part to do that for the consumer. But back to the actual game itself, in terms of how I said before, it's the best co-op game I've played. I think it's because it's so co-op friendly. It's not only that you're doing these amazing things, you're having to think about things and what you're doing at any given time and actually work as a partnership in this game. Like, you cannot complete this game unless you're on the same page and doing the same thing, because you'll get to points where you need that other character, so you have to help them through. But on top of that, the way the checkpointing system, I think, in this is so well done that if you die, you can essentially come back in the game provided the other person stays alive. If you both die, even then, the checkpointing is so well done that you're never losing too much progress. It's never frustrating to die in this game, where I think you find a lot of these types of games where you're playing, if you know, even against a boss fight, you end up back at the start of the boss fight, whereas this has got checkpointing within the middle of those fights to not make it frustrating, because I think they understand that people are going to be playing like either with a younger kid who's not as good on the controller, or Troy as their partner that's not as good at the game either. So to be able to to have these kind of checkpoint system and have no real sort of barrier of entry. Like, I'm playing with a little fella, he's 10 years old. He's not too bad on a controller, but some of the stuff we've had to be and required to do in this game has been insanely difficult. Like, there's times in the games where you're both having to fire off your abilities, followed by the other person, followed by the other person, coordinating all at the same time, very tight time frames. And because of the checkpointing, you just straight back into the game, and it becomes muscle memory. Even for someone that might not be as good at the game, you learn it. And I mean, yeah, you've got the person that's probably better at the game, Bully, yelling at Troy about what you need to do, but you get it done, and it's just this camaraderie you build. And this is one of the best experiences I've had with a video game, playing with my little fella on the couch, like talking to each other, encouraging each other through the game, and then doing the stuff we're doing just in awe. Like the last level, I know a lot of viewers out there have actually spoken about the last level in terms of what you're actually doing that level and how amazing it is. We're in just that first part of that level, and my mind, as much as this game has already blown it, is even blowing it out of the water with what they're doing in terms of game design. It is incredible, and I'm not going to spoil it for any of you, because when you get there, you're going to be like, how do these guys do this? They're magicians. It's ridiculous. So that's what you got to look forward to. But no, this is easily by far, if not the best experience of a game I've played this year. I know Bully, I think, spoke last week about KCD 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, being one of the games of the year, and I can confirm that I've played probably 40 hours of that, and I'm probably past where Bully's at, and I am in love with that game as well. Tough start, very tough game to start off with, but once you get into the weeds of that game, it is an incredible RPG experience. But even that being said, and the next game I'm going to talk about, Monster Hunter Wilds, again, one of the best games I've played this year. But this game, in terms of its experience, the co-op, the gameplay itself, this is easily one of the best games I've ever played.
So you've said all that, Unky. I'm just wondering, once you've finished your playthrough with a young fella, you're looking to do a second playthrough, or?
Mate, I can. You know what? I'll even take the fairy character, because I've been playing as the other guy the whole time. The other guy the other time. So.
You've told me how difficult the platforming comes down the track, and we all know that this is not a personal attack, Troy, but we all know that you're not the greatest platformer in the world. And
I freely admit it.
I think we're going to get to the end of this, and I've been fairly relaxed. I've been fairly relaxed while we're playing so far. I can see myself hitting the roof, if that's the case.
And I'll put my hand, mate. I will play as Zoe and the fairy, and you can keep Mio. So I've been playing the whole game as Mio, which I think cute touch for this game. And Joseph Farris named the main characters after his daughters. So very cute.
Did he? I didn't know that. That's cool. Good on him.
He did, yeah. I saw them at the Game Awards. He showed them off there, and I just love his main mantra for their studio, which is we fuck shit up without fucking shit up, and it's just brilliant because they don't miss. Like their last 3 games, co-op experiences, you think, a game that you have to play co-op, can't play single player, how could that do so well? But you play it and you're like, this is incredible. Like just everything about it. I cannot speak more highly of this game. This game for me is a 10 out of 10. I haven't even finished it yet. It's going in my top 10 for the year. It'd be very hard pressed to push out of the top 3.
I love it. Sounds like high praise all around. As I said, I'm only 3 hours in, but I second all your comments, Unky. Love the studio, love their previous works. This is by far the best. I'm only 3 hours in. I apologize, Bully, for only giving you 1 hour stints. I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can get some sort of rehab on my fingers, but no time soon.
Maybe you can rehab the trophy pops, and then we'll be good.
Or just fork out the money, you cheap bastard.
Oh, shots fired.
Do I need to swivel the camera that way?
He's too busy buying Weeby games.
Unky Dunky, well, you're firing shots, mate. Let's hand it over to you for some shots at Monster Hunter Wilds.
Monster Hunter Wilds. This game. I initially, when it was announced, I wasn't really excited about this game at all. Even leading up to it, the week it was coming out, I wasn't too excited. Jumped into the beta very briefly, and knowing that none of my progress carried over, I find it really hard sometimes to get into these things and be like, none of my progress carries over except for my character creator. So I created my Nathan Drake, and that was kind of it. And then jumping into the game, I remember playing Worlds back in the day and actually got into that. Didn't quite go high level in that game at all. Sort of finished the main campaign and was sort of done with it. Played a bit of the one on Switch. What was that one? Monster Hunter, I want to say Rise, which eventually
came that sounds right.
4 and 5 last year, I think, as well. Got into that for a little bit as well, but this one by far is the most user-friendly Monster Hunter you will ever play. For any beginners going into Monster Hunter, this is probably the one I'd recommend. It takes away all the fat. It makes everything much easier to understand. Yes, there's a lot of menus and stuff, but you kind of learn that pretty quick. It's got a campaign now, like a proper story, which I think a lot of the Monster Hunter aficionados are kind of like, oh, I don't really like this. It's a bit slow. I just want to get to the high rank monster hunting and go out and do what I want. But I think for an onboarding process, the game just opens up a little bit more and more to you each time to understand the systems, to understand what you're doing. With this story there's the most annoying kid I reckon I've had in a video game. I wanted to throw him off a mountain at one point when he's trying to throw a rock at a giant monster because
you should try putting him on a swing.
That might have worked. But no, he was insufferable and I didn't like him and I was kind of hoping he'd die. But especially with these giant monsters, I thought one of them could finally be his end, but apparently not. But no, after putting in about 38, 40 hours into Monster Hunter now, I've finished the roll credits on low level and then into the high rank now, and really finding where all the fun and grinding for new gear is and where that, it gets its hook in. Finding monsters, getting their parts, learning what you need to do, capturing them as opposed to killing them, learning which weapons fit for you. I've gone a bow build, as you like. I like to play the rogue, and the bow in Monster Hunter Wilds now is just an elite weapon. Like being able to use that and step back from the monster and not be up in its face and target weak points now, which is a new thing for Wilds.
How's the dual sense go with the trigger pull?
Yeah, really good actually. It feels really good. It's got cool vibration and stuff when you're walking through the thing. So the controller feels really good. Weak points, as I alluded to, are a new thing for Monster Hunter where they used to be able to attack and you do bigger attacks than other Monster Hunters. This one now will show you little sort of, if you're targeting it with left trigger, you'll see little red points eventually on the monster. And then you can hit L2 to aim it at whatever weapon you've got and automatically attack that sort of wound and then get different parts and stuff that way. So it really creates a more sort of tactical way to do it. When, if I'm sitting back, I can target a specific area with a bow while they're moving in with their swords and stuff. And when I say they, you can either play co-op or now they've got what's called single player online mode. So you can still send out a SOS whenever you want, but NPCs will come in and actually help you. So you're not always solo. You can play the game by yourself, but if you ever want like 3 other hunters to join you, they just come in and help you out so they can take the aggro off of you and, you can sit back, especially with me with my bow. It's hard, if it's always targeting me. So to send them out, it just creates all this, it's less friction than the old games have had. It just makes it easier to play and more fun. And you get to the fun more quickly. And you've got your secret that you can ride as well, which is essentially a chocobo. Call them in whenever you want. You can even hit it, anything on the map. You can just hit a target. So quick, just chuck down a point and your secret will take you there without even you directing it. So you can worry about collecting stuff on your way. You don't have to worry about trying to find the waypoint. It will take you straight there if you want. So just all these easy sort of things they've put in that game just to take away that friction. And I think that's what makes this game so good, so fun, so absorbing. And just that loop continues just to get you back in the game. You're like, just one more hunt. I think that's where it, sits as the best kind of game. It's all about gameplay. It feels a bit soulsy going in there and fighting all these giant things and ducking and dodging and upgrading your character, upgrading your enemy, becoming more powerful. And you do feel like that power grind and you just want to get that next bit of armor and they all look cool. It's got transmog, so if you don't like your fluffy pink necktie that you've got on or whatever, you can just change it when you get to high level. You can change any high level equipment that you make or purchase, you can use that as transmog. So you can make your character look as much like Nathan Drake as you like, which, that's right down my alley. So, no, I've been loving my time in Monster Hunter and didn't expect to. So this is, again, another one's currently sitting in my top 5 for the year.
Nice. Bully, any points from you, mate?
No, it's always been one of those series that I've tried to get into. I think I played Monster Hunter World was the last one on the PS4, and I tried to, I reckon 10, 15, 20 hours I put into that trying to get into it and just never really could get into it. And then the last couple that have come out, I just sort of went by the wayside. And even when this came out, I know there's been massive hype for it. It's a massive franchise, but it was one that I just sort of looked at and went, yeah, okay. I don't think it's really for me and sort of move on. But some of the points Unky's making that it's a bit different and a bit more accessible than some of the previous ones. It does get a little bit of interest there, but I'm not quite sure that it's something that I'm going to, jump wholly into, because it is, as you said, one of those games that you really have to spend, dozens and dozens of hours, getting into and playing and working your way through. So, I just think in terms of gameplay and game time, there's things that are probably a bit higher on my list, but I can see the appeal of it.
I agree with you, but I will finish Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 before I even look in the direction of Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm loving that game. It is great. Thank you, Bully, for selling me on it a few weeks back. Let's move it on into game 3 And this is Dragon Age, the Veilguard. I did the install earlier this week. I've only put about an hour into it, and I'm not imagining, thanks to Kingdom Come Deliverance, that I'm going to get back to it anytime soon. I'll note I was playing it on the PS5 Pro, and the game looks phenomenal on the PS5 Pro. It's not. It doesn't remind me much of Dragon Age at all. It doesn't have much of the old flavour left to it, unfortunately. It's interesting enough. It's a fine enough story. They've pulled a lot of mechanics from other games. The unique thing about it is I don't think there's anything particularly unique about this game at all. As I said, I'm only an hour in. Maybe it gets phenomenal. Maybe they turn a huge corner, but it's mediocre at best from where I'm sitting. Have either of you boys put any time into it? Oh, and I should mention, sorry, it's free this month on PlayStation Plus if you wanted to check it out.
No, we did talk about that a couple of weeks ago, Troy, that the quick turnaround, that it only released in October last year, and 4 months later it's on or basically, I know free is a subjective term because you pay for PS Plus, but throwing it out there on that platform and making it widely available just screams the fact that it's dived as an IP, and from it's fallen immensely from where it was, and especially I think the last one in 2014 won Game of the Year for a lot of people. So it was certainly, really high up there in terms of quality. And this is just not that. Like, one of the big things with the older games was the story and the background and, everything that sort of went into it. And the gameplay was almost a secondary thing. It's almost flipped a little bit. I actually really enjoyed the combat in the game itself. But once you got out of that, and even the exploration of some of the areas to a degree, but once you got out of that and started bogging yourself down in what was a mediocre story that, wasn't told really well, that had, depending on who you speak to, annoying or offensive characters, that really threw me out after about maybe 10 hours of trying to play through it and push through some of those issues. I just sort of jumped out of it. So it's one of those ones that I sort of keep meaning to go back to and say, well, maybe I'll give it another chance. And maybe it's one of those games that you do sort of pass over the first time, go back to and really enjoy it the second time around. But, I'll just keep going back to those failings. And there's so much more to look at playing at the moment, and the backlog and all the rest of it. I don't know when and if I'll ever get back to it, to be honest.
I imagine I'll be playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Split Fiction with your good self right up until the release of GTA 6. So maybe I'll come back to this game in 2028, possibly.
I don't think your hands are going to be working in Split Fiction by level 4. So. No, I've done about probably 30-ish hours, maybe 20, 30 hours into Dragon Age. Enjoyed my time without really loving it. Like, certain parts of the game I've really enjoyed. Other parts it kind of just drags a bit. I found the combat quite fun, as again, playing as a rogue character. I've found a lot of fun with the archery and with the swords and stuff, gameplay that I've been playing with that as well. And I know some people play and they've said the sword and shield's really good. You get the Captain America shield, you can throw it and stuff like that as well. So it can come down to how you're playing the game. So yeah, I've enjoyed the gameplay of it. Story being okay without being incredible. It looks okay. It looks great on the PS5 Pro after it got its patch and everything. So it's a comfy game. Like, you can go in there, you know what you're going to do. Like, the combat's fun. It's got the unique ability where, whichever partner you're with, you can activate their special abilities and stuff, which I think what they're trying to do with the combat, sort of to harken back to kind of that RPG. So, they had the different abilities and you could use them, but this time we're not pausing the gameplay. We're sort of slowing it down a bit while you pick those moves. And some of them can be pretty cool, explosions and stuff like that you set up. But yeah, it's just another RPG, third-person actiony game. Really, at the end of the day, it doesn't do much for the Dragon Age thing, especially as Inquisition was one of my favourite games, and Dragon Age is to come out, and that was sort of slightly turn-based with action as well. This has gone that full action route, just like every other sort of action game. So, no, again, it's enjoyable without being too memorable, I think.
All right. Well, I don't think it's...
Just before we jump, I was just wondering, Unky, have you found the side character with that special ability to be instantly offended by everything?
Which one's that? There's a few of them.
All of them.
Nailed it.
All right, I don't think we need to drill into this one any further. Let's kick it over to Bully for game 4 this week. Still wakes the deep. Bully, tell me things.
Still wakes the
No,
deep.
don't tell. No, wait. Before you start talking, Bully, just making sure, Troy, you got all your lights on in your studio there. Making sure that Bully talking about this game's not going to be too scary for you.
Look,
I won't lean into the microphone and talk like this.
Troy's gone. Where's he gone?
It's my
He's still
fear
there.
of drowning, honestly. It's just my fear of drowning. I used to surf as a kid. I got held under a few too many times. So just being on an oil rig, that constant fear, and you know how good I am at platforming, so you'll see it in a minute. I fall into the deep water a few times, so no, half an hour is enough for me. Sorry, Bully, please investigate away, sir.
No, all good. That was it was one of these. I don't know whether you guys had ever got to it, but it sort of released mid last year and sort of just came and went a little bit. But I jumped onto it in the last couple of weeks, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's really atmospheric. It's set in the North Sea, so just off Great Britain, on an oil rig. And there's you don't want to give too much away of the story, but you find out fairly early on that there's something happening on the oil rig. It's supernatural, and you got to make your way through that. But it has a really, I think, interesting blend of storytelling in that you're there and experiencing it, but then it also has flashbacks to your family and your wife saying that she doesn't want you to go and spend all this, spend the time away from the family again and on this oil rig for months on end and all the rest of it. So you sort of have these flashbacks between the present and what you're experiencing and what you're going through, and then what you've left behind, and hopefully we'll try and get back to, by working your way through the game. But I really enjoyed it. It's as I said, the atmosphere is really good. It's not a walking simulator, but it's not heavy on combat, but it's got really good exploration. It's more of the combat is less, sort of hand to hand and fighting as it is.
Stealth action.
Yeah. That's probably more the best way to put it. Is you have again, I don't want to give away the story as such, but you find yourself in these sections where you're not going to be able to fight your way out of it. You have to work through it by way of stealth and maneuvering your way around and that sort of stuff. I thought it looked pretty good. I think it's just a AA type sort of game, but graphically, I think it looks pretty good. It's got a really interesting story that the characters that you meet and interact with as you're sort of working your way through this, oil rig that's in essence falling apart, and that's where a lot of the intrigue comes from. Is the oil rig itself is falling into the sea, and how you try and either save it or work your way through. Yeah, I know this is going to trigger you hardcore, Troy.
Troy, the problem you've got there is as well, you can see more of it because your FOV's slid to like 300%.
So you love it, Bully? 120 degrees field of view. Mwah!
Yeah, but if you had it at normal, then all you'd see is the platforms in front of you, and
exactly.
Nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
Then where's the atmosphere?
The atmosphere's there. You don't need the field of view. So it's just one of those ones that sort of, as I said, it sort of came and went mid last year. I haven't heard really a lot of people talking about it, but it's not overly lengthy game. I think it was sort of 10, 12 hours. I'd work my way through it, and there is reason to go back to it if you're a trophy fan. Different ways to play it and different things you need to do, but the game itself is about 10 or 12 hours, and for mine, probably worth a bit of a look if you're into like I said, it's not entirely a horror game, but it has horror elements.
You're about to see the most horrific thing ever.
You falling into the water.
Yeah, this was the end.
But
I'll just run and jump and go. Oh, no. Yep, I'm down triggered.
Well, when you're platforming, Troy, you got to jump. You got to hit that jump button.
I tried my best.
But I look, to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's not a game that you go and pay full price for, but if you can pick it up on sale, I think it's certainly well worth a bit of a look at, and really enjoyed the time that I put into it.
I thought it was Game Pass, isn't it?
I'd have to have a look for you. I
think it is because I'm pretty sure
it is Game Pass, 100% Game Pass. I installed it this week on the channel.
There you go.
If you're looking for that, 6.68 gigs if memory serves. That was my second failed attempt at grabbing the ladder. Any bets on whether I land this third one?
No.
I reckon this is where you stopped playing the game because you couldn't do it.
Well, I think it was where he stopped because the third time he landed in the water and he had a panic attack and ran out of the room.
He's done. Oh no.
All right,
Oh, no.
game 5 this week. I cannot look at any more of that water. Is the House of Da Vinci VR. Now, I'm playing this on PC VR on Steam. It came out the 4th of December last year, so it's a couple of months past release. And thank you to the developers for sending the code, making it possible. I have a feeling that Unky played this maybe on MetaQuest because it's on there as well. But it is a phenomenal game. I've got on the PC, PSVR 2 headset on the PC. So it looks phenomenal. An absolutely enjoyable puzzle-solving VR game. Bully, you'd love it because it's just teleporting place to place. You don't have to move the left stick around. You just teleport from object to object. So there'd be no sickness there from you. From your side, but I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I got to say the real interest for me came because I did my first ever in IRL escape room last weekend with my family. So wife and me and 11 and 9-year-olds. So that was a lot of fun. Got out of there in an hour.
Only allowed 30 minutes. You got there.
No, it was a buzzer beater. We got out with 31 seconds to spare.
They had to come and find him and said, "You should have been out of here half an hour ago. What's going on?"
But no, so if you enjoy real life escape rooms, definitely get into this because it's more of the same. A heck of a lot of fun, incredibly well implemented VR. And once again, Billy, it's just another PC VR title with a PSVR 2. You don't have to touch a thing. Put the headset on, put the controls on and go. I don't know what magic the developers have done at Sony HQ, but every game is working flawlessly from a controller standpoint. Absolute thing of beauty and another fine example of it. Any points from you guys? Unky, did you shake your head? I thought you had played this one on MetaQuest.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no, I haven't played this one, unfortunately.
Well, thoroughly enjoyable title. Bully, any interest? Will we be checking this one out? No chance of sickness?
Oh, maybe it's lower on the backlog, but we'll see how we go. I've got to get back to mini golf. That's my highlight.
Talk about mini
That's
golf.
my highlight VR game is mini golf.
Oh my god!
Stupid as a comment as that sounds,
the 16 hours deep.
Walkabout mini golf is awesome.
And the reason I'm 16 hours deep, no issues with the old man hands. I can just putt for hours and there's no pain whatsoever. Bring it on. I love me some VR. Speaking of bringing it on, let's bring on the new segment, shall we? It's called Cold Case. Bully's got a cold case. Bully, Hogwarts Legacy. You're back to it. Tell us things.
I have, and I haven't gone overly cold to start with. I thought I'd leave it lukewarm, but I have to say that hope will live because the evidence of this game will never die. And it was one of those ones that got a PS5 Pro patch.
Which is what you're looking at. I captured it today off the PS5 Pro. Not
long after release, and it's been sort of on the backlog there of wanting to get back to it to see what the PS5 Pro can really do. As I think I've mentioned last week, I've got the new TV there, the PS5 Pro update, and I thought this is the time to jump back into it. I have seen quite a few videos that are saying, and lists that people have compiled saying that this is the peak of the PS5 Pro in terms of the graphical updates and the quality that you get out of it. So I jumped back into it, went and did a fresh, I think I'd put 40 odd hours into the game originally, went back to a new game, started it up again, was impressed initially. And then when you get back to Hogwarts and that first entry into the dining hall, the main room, where you do get sorted into your house, and you walk through there and you can see the light reflection of the individual stained glass pieces of on the walls, or the reflecting onto the floor, which is like a polished tile, and you can see the light coming into there and the exact fragments of that stained glass on the tiles. It looks amazing. The first time I went back in there, it looks absolutely amazing. I don't think there's parts like that you look at and go, that's fantastic. And then there's other parts that don't, whether it's just, I know it's only a couple of years old now, but the facial animations, I can't recall them being as bland as what they seem on the PS5 Pro, and I don't know whether that's just compared to everything else around you, the facial animations look a bit bland, or whether that was always the case from when we originally played it. But I've gone right through. I've put another, I think, 30 odd hours into it, and I forgot. I remember enjoying this game when it first came out, but I completely forgot how fantastic a game it is, especially if you're into Harry Potter and just wandering around Hogwarts or the different wandering. Or Hogsmeade, or even just the general open world itself, and stumbling across things. And there's things that'll be marked on the map that you can go and see, but there's a hell of a lot of secrets to go and find. And I've really enjoyed it. As I said, I've put another 30 odd hours into it. I'll see it through again for the second time, and go through. And then I think the only hiccup is I think I'm going to try and get everything and go for the platinum on it. The only annoying part is 4 of the trophies are for getting to a particular section at the start of the game after having been assigned each of the houses within. So you've got to basically get 4 playthroughs of about 2.5 to 3 hours, which is
hard pass,
mildly painful, and you can't save scum it to go back. You have to start the whole game again and go back to play another 2 or 3 hours and then get to that point where you hit the trophies. But I'm really enjoying it. I forgot how good it was, to be honest with you. The only thing, and I can't remember it grating on me so much the first time playing it, is there's a character, Sebastian Sellows, and a whole quest line that starts as a side quest but then feeds into your main quests. I can't remember him being so annoying. He's utterly painful. The quests that you have to do with him are painful.
Yeah.
It goes against the whole ethos of, the Harry Potter world of being, trying to do the right thing and be good and helping people out, even if you take a sort of sideways effort to get there. He's going straight to the dark side, this bloke.
Yep,
and you're just following him
down.
Yeah, and you're just following him down there. And I think it's, having taken it in a second time, how deviated that path is from the rest of the main story and the main quests that you get given. It's almost jarringly taking you out of the game, I think, to some degree. So I'll keep playing it. As I said, another 30 hours in. I've probably got another 5 to 10 for the main quest line. And from what I've seen, I've been doing a lot of the collection stuff along the way. So I'll probably got another 5 to 10 after that for all the collecting stuff. And then, 2 redundant playthroughs to get the trophies, and then we'll see how we go. But I don't know if you guys have jumped back into it since it's been on the PS5 Pro, or have played it at all since release.
So, inspired by your nominating it for Cold Case this evening, Bully, I reinstalled it and captured this footage today. I played for about 40 minutes, and I just picked up my playthrough. I'm in winter, and from memory serves, I believe that's the 3rd to last season. Is that right? So I'm sort of
but it's sort of a shorter one, I think, the shorter of the seasons, and then the last season is a longer one.
Anyway, so I'm kind of close to my playthrough, but picking it back up today, besides forgetting all the bloody controls, I'll get there eventually. But I'd forgotten, 1, how good the game is, thoroughly enjoyable to play, and 2, it does look phenomenal on the PS5 Pro. I'm really impressed with the graphical updates. And the load times, it's been a long time since I'd played it previously, but the load times are totally unnoticeable now. Unky, do you recall, was it previously, was there much loading? I don't remember.
I thought it was too bad on this regular PS5, but I wish I could go back in and play it, but for whatever reason, it's one of the only games I still have a hard copy of and didn't purchase digitally, so I can't go back in and do it because I don't have the disc drive for the PS5 Pro. So I keep waiting for Hogwarts to go on sale on the store, and I was literally just looking it up as Bully was talking about. Because, I wouldn't mind going back and finishing that game, and it's still said $120 digital. So
how many?
I think they had some package with that stupid Hogwarts Quidditch game they get. I think it was the cheapest you get it for $60. I was like, I didn't want the Quidditch game, so I'll just keep waiting.
How much? How many physical PS5 games do you have, mate?
4.
I was going to say, because I'm pretty sure JB Hi-Fi have the disc readers in stock for the PS5 Pro. So if you had a massive stack, it might have been worth it.
I'm a digital man now. It's the way of the future, Bully.
No, it ain't. Not when you're paying $120 on the digital store, and I can go to the shops and get it for $30.
Oh! Is Split Fiction coming out physically? Maybe that's the nudge we need.
I don't think it
I
is.
think you can get it. Hang on, I'll have to double check. I'm pretty sure you can get it physically, but or maybe I will be going to the shops tomorrow and I can start popping trophies. I don't know. I'll have to. Hang on, you.
Bully, I think you need to actually be able to finish the game to pop all the trophies, and I don't know if you're going to be able to do that with Troy. So,
yes, it is physical. It is physical. So 64 Australian toilet dollars.
That's right. Well, Bully, if you need a ring up, you know where to call.
Well, the way we're going, I think we've got another half an hour in us, and then I will be calling you.
All right, well, Bully, while you're down the shops tomorrow, mate, let's get into the most wanted. While you're there, Bully, pick yourself up a copy of MLB The Show 25. It launches tomorrow because, of course, I purchased the digital deluxe edition, giving myself 3 days early access. Woo! Baseball action, it's back, baby. I platinumed it on the PS4 and the PS5 last year. You boys would know a good game if it jumped up and smacked you with a baseball bat, I reckon. Come on, Bully, get into it, son.
Well, see, the funny thing is, because the MLB 24, so that was on Game Pass. So I jumped into, and I think it's also on, it got released on one of the PS Pluses as well. So I actually jumped in I jumped in the PS Plus version of it. It is incredibly frustrating. I tried to do the season, like create a player season type mode. And I would have thought I'm going in there, I'm batting at 3 times the average of every other player, and I can't crack the majors. So I spent 3 seasons in the minor league, can't crack the majors, and I'm going to keep playing this in the dud league, and I just uninstalled it and threw it away. So
I've been thinking about it because we had a brief back and forth conversation about this, and I got into the majors within, I think it was within 3 months, in-game months, that is. So, couple of game sessions. But my question to you, Billy, is what fielding position did you pick on the team? Because that would have a huge impact. Me, personally, when I play the game physically, I'm a left fielder, so my player in-game is a left fielder, and I'm like, maybe that was the short route into the majors.
I started off as a catcher / pitcher, so you play...
Yeah, there you go. The most competitive positions on the field.
Yeah, well, I thought that'd give me a bit of a head leg up, I suppose, that you're playing 2 positions. So if you pitched well enough, which I was, and then you hit well enough, you could get in as either. But I got in as none, and I was toiling away in the minors for 3 years. 3 years, and even in the preseason, you get bumped up into the majors, and I'd be hitting at 700 or 800, and still couldn't get a game in. I thought, bugger this, I've had enough. So you can take your MLB 25 and.
Until I platinum it, and I'm looking forward. The install will be on the channel tomorrow.
And jam it where Assassin's Creed should be.
What?
Mate, I could even pick another sports game that I'd put ahead of this week.
You can't nominate MLB The Show 24, mate. It didn't come out this week.
WWE.
Oh yeah.
25.
Oh yeah.
A sports game, not a theatre game.
You got me there. That's right. I just want to know, can you play as a wicket keeper in baseball?
No, thankfully there's no stupid things like wickets in baseball. There's just home runs, baby. Home runs all day long. Look at them over the fence.
The only home run there would have been is if we'd put Assassin's Creed in the most wanted.
What?
I can't wait for that game. I can't wait.
While it's been brought up, come on, boys, I want you to throw out a Metacritic prediction for Assassin's Creed. I'm saying 70.
88.
40.
Whoa, I love it. There's the spread. All right, let's go kick it in the newsroom door, shall we? If I can find it. Bully, who has the right to remain newsworthy this week?
I'll tell you in a minute. I was just reading the chat, though. I had Tigaro in there, and his comment was, if an MLB game broke out in my street, I'd close the curtains. So obviously not a fan.
Oh, wait, in that case, Tigaro, go and check out on YouTube Chelsea Baseball and watch the rundown. It's the other podcast I do, and it's all about me playing baseball, baby, in real life. Sorry, Billy. New story.
You just hit unsubscribe, I'm pretty sure.
and he's revoked his financial contributions as well. I don't know what you've done to
Is
him.
that because his last 3 went to paying for this shirt? Washington Nationals baseball shirt, in case you can't tell.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I thought it was Safeway.
He's got a new job. He's stuck at shelves. News story 1. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was released onto the Xbox last year. Yeah, I think even prior to it being released, we were all aware that it was coming out to the PS5. So the launch date has been suggested, although not officially, that the game will be released on April 17, so just about a month away, and will include physical and digital editions at the same time onto the PS5 console.
Sorry, can I just ask you, may have just said it. What was the release date? Was the 17th of whatever month it came out? October, November? Like, is it an exact date later, if you know what I'm saying?
No, so it was December 9 for Xbox.
December 9, okay,
April,
sorry. Yep.
Yeah, April 17 for the PS5. And I know we spoke about it towards the end of last year. We'd all had a bit of a go at it and enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it, but it was one of those games that the entirety, and I've probably played about 3/4 of it, but I got to the point where when you start getting to the point of collecting things and, you know, doing all that sort of stuff, being that I want to look at platinums and all the rest of it, I thought, well, if I'm going to go through the effort of getting all these collectibles and doing all the puzzles and all the rest of it, I really want to do it on PS5. So I pretty much just put a full stop to it about half to 3/4 of the way through it and said, that's it. I'm done with that. I've seen it. I've seen enough. I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to go out and buy it on the PS5, sit there and go through it again and get everything in platinum. And I really enjoyed it. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, having played it on the Xbox, whether you're going to go out and play it on the PS5 or whether you've had your fill of it and sort of that's enough and move on.
I'm in your boat. I'll be real quick and then I'll hand it to you, Unky. I'm in your boat. I'm halfway through Egypt, maybe a bit more than halfway through Egypt, which Unky probably 3rd level, I think. Absolutely loving it, but waiting for that DualSense implementation because I think they're going to do wonders with it. So yes, I love the game, but I'm keeping my powder dry so I can load it into the PS5 Pro and see it running at its best and feeling its best on its controller. Unky, over to you.
Now, I kind of wish I could do that because I've played a lot of this game and I've found a lot of the collectibles because I love the game that much, which says so much for the game itself because I was easily one of my favorite games last year and couldn't put it down until I did roll credits because I was just loving it so much. But yeah, I could almost see myself going back and doing it depending on sort of what isn't around that time as well and what I'm still playing. But realistically, this was one of my favorite games last year, and I could easily see myself going back just to do that platinum stuff. But it's going to be very hard to do it without my fully upgraded Indy when I've got all the books that I've found with all the abilities. I can now stealth kill, which you can't do for a lot of the game. But as soon as you unlock the stealth killing ability, like that opens up so many more options in the combat. I know some people don't like the combat. I actually really did like the combat when you play it the way the game wants you to play it. I think it wants you to play it as a stealth sort of sim, but when you get into that combat, you know, with the guns breaking and stuff like that, when you're running around, if you're grabbing a gun, shooting a couple of bullets, but then flipping it, turning it to a melee weapon, running in there, cracking a guy over the skull, grabbing his weapon, you're playing the game as Indiana Jones. It's not trying to be anything else. It's not trying to be Call of Duty. It's not trying to be a first-person shooter. It's an Indiana Jones simulator, and it just really sucks you into that. So I could easily see myself going back, especially if it's got some nice, fancy DualSense and PS5 Pro updates for the graphics as well. I mean, it's a very pretty game on the Xbox, but with the Pro, I can imagine it looking even better. So I'll definitely be looking at potentially getting back into it.
Troy Baker, some of his finest work. All right, Bully, news story 2, please, mate.
News story 2. So we had confirmation during the week. Hideo Kojima, his newest game, Death Stranding 2, which was, I think, the first one. I think I put about 30 odd hours into, and enjoyed parts of it. There was some tedious parts to it, and I think that was the general consensus, is that it was polarizing. You either really loved it or you just thought it was an annoying, walk sim. But the sequel to that, Death Stranding 2 on the beach, we got a full 10-minute release trailer, which for those...
It's like a direct.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those that haven't seen it and are really interested in the story, you might want to avoid it. From what I've heard is that there is a lot of story spoilers into it, but the release date confirmed onto the PS5 on June 26 this year. I don't know if you guys are interested into it.
Have we had the... Sorry, Unky, go, mate.
I was going to say, nice late birthday present for me. Birthday 25th of June. This coming out 26th of June. I cannot wait for this game. I was on the side of loving the first game. Like, I think I found the joy in the tedium. I think that was part of the experience, was like walking through these things. And like, I remember struggling like for hours trying to just get over a snowy mountain. And then by the time you get to the end of it, the sense of accomplishment getting over there and then being given the ability to then walk faster because you've got a new piece of equipment over the snow, and also that makes your journey easier, or connecting all the roads and stuff like that just to make your experience. I think that for me, the time it was, I think it was right in the midst of COVID and stuff as well. Like, they wanted to bring everyone back, and it was a cozy game. And by the end of it, everyone was worried there was no combat. But by the end of it, you're shooting a whole bunch of stuff. It's doing all this weird stuff with story, and it's classic Kojima. And looking at the trailer for this new one, my God, Kojima's gone full Kojima with this one. I think you could say story spoilers, but who bloody knows what context half that stuff is in? Because you said the amount of crazy shit in this trailer and the gameplay that I'm seeing, it looks incredible. They do. I don't know if you've watched the trailer, guys, but when they do the Metal Gear Solid homage, where the bloke's putting on the bandana, and it's actually, I can't remember the actor's name, but someone said back in the day that he'd be perfect to play Snake in a movie, and they're now using him in this game. And obviously Kojima's got him putting the bandana on as well. So you know exactly what he's doing. Whether this guy's going to be playable, I've got a feeling like he might be. I reckon they might do a Metal Gear Solid 2 thing where you're playing the game as, Sam Porter Bridges at the start, and then you switch to this other guy like you did with Snake and Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2. I think we could see something like that with Kojima. I'm pretty sure he's got something like that up his sleeve. And all the other characters, Troy Baker in this as well. We just spoke about him with Indiana Jones, and he's back in this as one of the main villains, I would assume, as well. But just the going to the beach and the stuff where you're seeing the vistas in this game, I cannot wait to be just walking through these vistas. I love just doing it through the mountainside, but seeing the different kinds of escapes we've got here, the forest, the beach, the mountains, like, it just looks incredible. And I cannot wait for this experience. So I think come June, it's going to be the perfect time to play this game.
Have we heard yet? Have they announced? Is there 120 degrees field of view available?
Oh, I can imagine there probably is.
Oh, for the 1% of people that need it.
Look at this. Look at the sandstorms coming through as well. Like, they're just doing some crazy things with the tech. And now with the Pro out, I think this game's going to be one of the showpieces for the PS5. And I still find it weird that we're still getting this game before Metal Gear Solid Delta. So, which is out later in the year. So now Death Stranding, with the June 26th release date's coming out beforehand. So the year's finally starting to take shape with a lot of these release dates dropping, which is good to see.
Well, funnily enough, it's only about 6 weeks before Metal Solid Delta comes out. So I don't know whether that was just a coincidental time.
He's doing one of these ones.
Whether Kojima's doing that one to Konami and saying, well, I'll have a crack at that one.
No, I can't wait.
I love it. My earlier question, probably half irrelevant, but did Death Stranding 1 get the PS5 Pro enhanced patch? Is that a thing that's happened?
Don't believe so, because it was a PS4 game originally, and then it got the PS5
Director's Cut
version, which is the Director's Cut, but I don't think it ever got the PS5 Pro enhancement, from my understanding.
Because I only ever put 2 hours into the game. It was just a bit, believe it or not, slow for me. Conversely, my wife had dropped, I think, 10 or 12 hours into it. She absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. But if there was a PS5 Pro enhanced, it'd probably be enough to get me back over the line and have a look. Bully, I think you're frantically searching. Give me the news.
Yeah, the short answer is no. It already runs 4K 60, so it was probably a moot point upgrading at that point when they've already really done it once with the PS5 update and would have been putting all their attention into number 2.
Probably makes a fair bit of sense. All right, then, let's kick in newsroom door 3. Bully, what you got for us?
News story number 3. So I've heard rumours about it for a little while, and I'm surprised it's taken this long. So the Elder Scrolls Oblivion remake, which was, for those that don't know, is the game before Skyrim, which has seen remake after remake after remake after phone release after I can now play it on my Nokia, 2010 version. But Oblivion remake. So the story that we're being told, and this comes from VGC, is that this is going to be coming out earlier than expected, and that a likely release before June this year, that we'll be getting the remake of Elder Scrolls. I'm not sure if you guys put much time into this. This was my first introduction when I got the Xbox 360 and got Oblivion and was mind blown. And I think at the time that there wasn't, when the console was first released, there wasn't a heck of a lot to play on it. And I would have put 400 or 500 hours into this game over various playthroughs and absolutely adored it and sucked me into the Bethesda style games. Yes, it's got a bit of jank. Yes, it's got that Bethesda sort of stuff to it, but the gameplay, the story, and everything that went with it was amazing.
Yep, I've dropped hundreds of hours into it. I loved it. It was Xbox 360 launch title. I'm 99% sure it was the launch title. The one grievance that I've got with it is I was playing a mage, went through the mage quest. About halfway through, you got to pick up a gold ring out of a corpse in the bottom of a well. It glitched for me, and I could never get that achievement. So that's just something I haven't processed yet emotionally. So maybe this will be the time I'll be able to go back and start a new game and finally get that gold ring out of the goddamn well. I couldn't join the Mages Guild and I was a mage. It was ridiculous.
It was funny though. I still remember because you start off the game in a dungeon. You're basically a prisoner trying to escape, and I still remember getting out of that dungeon and into the open world and looking up at the sun for the first time. There was a river in front of you with green grass in front. I just thought it was like, looking back now, it's janky and it doesn't really hold up that well. But the first time that you saw it on an Xbox 360, I thought that nothing can be better than this. This is amazing. I don't know how you can make a game better than this.
Well, I'll tell you, I put in Skyrim, speaking of Elder Scrolls, Skyrim on the PC VR, fired that up and started a new game on it, and whoo, breathtaking opening, if you remember that, when you're coming down the mountain and then the big dragon comes in, that running in full VR mode, whoo, thing of beauty. Obviously another Bethesda game. Unky, any points on the old Oblivion, mate? How many 360 red rings of death did you have to deal with as a result?
Oh, quite a few from memory. But I was like, boy, I still remember that opening of that game. It was really the Breath of the Wild moment where you came out and saw all that stuff going on, and obviously it probably doesn't hold up well now. So to get a remake, and hopefully it's not just to cash in and don't really do too much effort, and we just get up-res, stuff, and a couple of textures changed here and there. Hopefully it's a proper remake, but I actually don't think it's going to be. I reckon it's going to be quite disappointing remake. I don't know. I've just got a feeling about it, and hopefully it's not. But that's just I've got a bad feeling that it's just going to be a by the numbers remake/remaster.
Oh dear. Well, I hope not. I really want to get that gold ring out of that well. I think I've said that enough times.
It's stuck there forever.
It isn't a goddamn save file in the cloud. Grr. All right, newsroom 4. Kick that door in.
News forward, another bit of speculation again from VGC that the somewhat talked about next generation of consoles in terms of what Xbox is doing, whether they're going to do a proper home console or whether they're looking at pushing into portable gaming. But the discussion is potentially that a portable Xbox will hit the shelves this year. Now, in what form that takes, whether it's a tablet style thing with it, you would then need to attach a controller to, or whether it's like the PS Vita or the Steam Deck or something along those sort of lines. Be interesting to see where they're sort of at, but that is potentially being released towards the back end of this year. I'm not sure whether that's any interest to you guys.
I don't think I'll be picking it up. It's not in my wheelhouse. My question and then handing it over to you, Unky, is can you play any Game Pass or the like on your, what do you got, the Rogue Ally, I believe?
Yeah, no, you can. You can definitely go Xbox and Steam and all that through the Rogue Ally, which, I mean, it's hard. It's a pretty heavy device, the Rogue Ally, so it'd be nice to see if, Xbox can bring out their own device.
Oh, look at the guns on you. You complain about the weight of it. What does it weigh? Couldn't be more than a kilo. Get off it.
Because they're all for show. They're all for show. They don't do anything. They're just for show.
Let's puff up.
Can you just point to the light on your ceiling there for a minute, mate? Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
No,
how heavy is that controller?
The light on the other side.
No, to be honest, I could be excited by it. I've played a lot of the PS Portal recently, which I found a really good device at home, being able to play stuff portably when someone else is watching TV. You can just jump straight on the Portal and play whatever you're playing, or go to bed and sit there. And that's a really comfy device, and I think that's where you need to go. I think whether if it's an Xbox device playing the game natively, it's going to be heavier because you're going to have the tech in it, whereas the Portal, because it's just a screen with the controllers, works really well. And I really enjoy that part of it. So if it's got that kind of weight to it, I'll be fine with it. I just think, I don't know, I've got a phone. I can plug, the controller into my phone and play wirelessly if I really want to. There are means to sort of play Xbox wirelessly already. So, I mean, it'll just be another device. I'm sure there's, plenty of people out there that probably purchase it, and, I'll probably be one of them, let's be honest.
Whale alert! I don't think when we sitting under my Christmas tree. Bully, were you a yay or a nay on this one? Sorry, mate, I missed it.
Probably a nay. I'm not. The handheld gaming in me is well and truly past me. You can see the glasses on. I need biggest type screen I can get in front of me to be able to see what's going on. Because
I'm right there with you.
Tiny little screen don't do it for me no more.
I hear. All right, mate. News story 5, please, sir.
News story 5, and just an update for a game we spoke about last week, which was Pirates VR Jolly Roger. So we did talk about the Steam version that had been released, and quite graciously, the developers provided us a code for that one to have a look at. But the PS VR 2 version of the game, so they're still doing Q&A on it, and they're hoping for a Q2 release date. So before the end of June this year is fingers crossed for that one. If you were interested on it for the PSVR 2, I think that's probably where, if I was going to get it, I'd probably look at playing it there. I know you enjoyed it on the Steam.
Yep.
Troy, I don't know if you've had a chance to have a look at it all on your VR type devices, Unky.
No, I haven't had a chance to look at this one. I think it's been sort of collecting dust for a little bit. The last game I think I played on it was the Batman Arkham Shadows game, which is by far the best VR game experience I've had, and everything sort of seems to pales in comparison. So I don't think I'll be giving it a go. But
so I guess you haven't played Walkabout Mini Golf?
Definitely have not played that.
It beats any game.
By all accounts, it's not too bad.
Hands down, and there's expansion after expansion after expansion for it. Love
it's only cost me $6,000 in DLC.
Speaking of golf, Tagara will be happy to know that I did try out the Tiger Woods 25 demo, and I actually was pretty impressed with that as well. So this week.
Wait, are you saying that's VR? Now I'm lost.
No, not VR. Just standard flat screen golfing. So I'm not usually a golfer, but it was actually pleasantly surprised with the old Tiger Woods.
Nice.
I think we played that a couple of years ago, didn't we, Troy? We had you and I, and there was someone else. Was it? And I don't. It might well have been.
It was Tagara, wasn't it? I think
that
it
we
was.
played against, and I don't want to. Well, I will beat my own drum here because I trounced you all. So
you wouldn't beat me if it was in VR, mate. I tell you, I am on point with that putter. You may have seen one of my shots. I think I sent you one. How good was it? Playing the angles. It was the thing of beauty.
No, I was going to say, Troy, just quickly, this is a bit of a TLDR, too long, didn't read. I'm probably not going to get a chance to speak about it because I'm on night shift next week, and we're probably going to run too long to not talk about it, but the best Yakuza game I've ever played. I've played 40 hours of it, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. If you haven't played it already, that game is an absolute banger.
Okay, I haven't, but I'll take the recommendation on. Maybe you can nominate it for most wanted at some point. I've spent my one token. I don't get another crack at that one for a while. Bully, it's that time of the show for audience interrogation, buddy. Is there any comments we've missed in that there YouTube chat?
Oh, Tigaro's been in there, and we've been going back and forth all show, and he's just clipped me on the back end of it. He said, it wasn't me, it was Ace. You fresh-aired me when I tried to play with you. So I apologise. I apologise. It wasn't anything personal, my friend. Let me know if you do end up getting Tiger Woods. I'll go out and buy it just for you, and we'll have a game together.
They don't have a friend pass?
Maybe they can kick the trophies off with a friend pass. I don't know. But anyway. We'll have a look. But as I did mention before, he was having a crack at at your choice of MLB for the most wanted, and bit of back and forth with our discussion over when we were talking about Elder Scrolls, he was sort of pushing Fallout 5, which is 10 years since we've had Fallout 4, but it's close to 15 since we've had the last actual release of Elder Scrolls being Skyrim in 2011, and had as I mentioned before, the ongoing re-releases of that. So either or would be handy for me at this point. But Tigara is more interested in Fallout than he is for the Elder Scrolls series, and that is it more or less for the chat.
Fair enough. Great work to go. Thank you very much. We are officially off. Unky Dunky, sir. Thank you and welcome back for the year. Sounds like you won't be with us next week, unfortunately, but top effort tonight, mate. Great work.
Thanks, mate. No, you should have me following the week, so I'll be on 3 weeks leave. So
Perfect. Got to come around here, fire up the couch, fire up some
fire up Troy's lap, hey bully.
It's a chair, not a couch.
That's all. I got a tiny ass. I'll make it work.
Bully, as always. Excellent work holding us up. Third slotting it this evening, as always, mate. Thank you.
After all that, I'm not holding anything up.
Wait, you got to hold up one more thing for me, Unky. What else could you do with Geek Aloud?
Like it, subscribe it. You'll never miss it.
Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's something. Oh! Old Uncle Donkey. Donkey.